This is Dr. Rani Kommidi, working as a contract lecturer in Government Degree and PG College, Siddipeta. Today we are discussing about the stellar evolution in pteridophytes. The steel, what is steel? So the definition of the stellar system. According to the older botanists, the vascular bundle is the fundamental unit in the vacuolar system of pteridophytes and higher plants. So, according to the older botanists, the vascular bundle is the fundamental unit in the vascular system of pteridophytes and higher plants. Van Tighem and Dowliet in 1886 they interrupted the plant body of a vascular plant in the different way. According to them, the fundamental parts of a shoot are the cortex and a central cylinder is known as a stele. So, stele it is defined as a central vascular cylinder with or without pith. It delimited the cortex by endodermis. So, the way the stele is generally Van Tighem and Dowliet they recognized only 3 types of steles. They are through that the monostelic shoots were rare in comparison of polystelic shoots. It is an established fact that all shoots are monostelic and polystelic conditions rarely occur. The Van Tighem and Dowliet they recognized only 3 types of the steles. They are protostele, siphonostele, solenostele. Some authors recognize only 2 kinds of steles, the protostele and siphonostele, and considered solenostele as a subcategory of the siphonostele. So, this is the introduction of the stellar systems in Pteridophyta or Fens. What is stellar theory? It was proposed by Van Tighem and Dowliet in 1886. Major highlights of the stellar theory are generally stele is a real entity and present universally in all higher plants. Cortex and stele are 2 fundamental parts of a shoot system. Stele and cortex are separated by endodermis. We can see the plant body. So the plant body is outer layer is the epidermis and cortex, endodermis, pericycle and central cylinder part is the stele. So in this manner of the parts, stele it is a real entity and present universally in all higher plants. So the stele is the central part of the plant body, either root or stem part. Cortex and stele are the 2 fundamental parts of a shoot system. In shoot part, the cortex part and stele part, these 2 are the fundamental parts of the shoot part. And stele, cortex they are separated by the endodermis. So this is the arrangement of the stele, arrangement of the parts in the plant body. So the stellar evolution in pteridophytes. What is stele? What is stele means? Earlier we are discussed about the stele is the central cylinder or core of vascular tissues in higher plants. Stele it is a central cylinder or core of the vascular tissue in higher plants. So each stele, either shoot part or root part of the stele, it consists of the 4 main parts. That is the xylem, phloem, pericycle and medullary or pith. So these 4 parts, the first time stele, term stele used by Van Tighem and Dowliet in 1886 in the stellar theory. So first time steel term used by Van Tighem and Dowliet in 1886. So the steel of the stem remains generally the steel of the stem remains connected with that of leaf by a vascular connection known as the leaf supply. The steel generally steels may be of the following types of the steels. So in this slide you can see that protosteel. First one is the protosteel. In types of steels, they are divided into major 4 types. Protosteel, and second one is the siphonosteel, third one is the solenosteel, and fourth one is the polycyclic steel or use steel. These are all the types of the steels. So we can see the one by one. In protosteel, the first time Jeffrey in 1898 for the first time pointed out the stellar theory from the point of view of the phylogeny. So according to the Jeffrey, the primitive type of steel is protosteel. First time protosteel pointed out by Jeffrey in 1898. So according to him, the primitive type of steel is the protosteel. In protosteel, the vascular tissue is a solid mass and the central core of the xylem is completely surrounded by a layer of phloem. This is the most primitive and simplest of the steel. So protosteel, the vascular tissue, it is a solid mass and the central core of the xylem, it is completely surrounded by the strands of phloem. So this is most primitive and very simplest steel or organization. In this protosteel, the pith, center part, medulla is absent. So the protosteel is divided several forms of the protosteel. There are different types of the protosteels are present in plants. In this, first one is the haplosteel, second one is the actinosteel, third one is the plectosteel, and fourth one is the mixed pith steel. So protosteel is divided into 4 types of the steels, that is haplosteel, actinosteel, plectosteel, and mixed pith steels. So in this slide you can see the different types of these steels. First one protosteel, second one siphonosteel, third one is the solenosteel. Protosteel is divided into again 4 types: haplosteel, actinosteel, plectosteel, mixed protosteel, and mixed protosteels with pith. And the second one is the siphonosteel. Siphonosteel, it's divided into 3 different forms. First one is the cladosiphonic siphonosteel, second one is the ectofloic siphonosteel, third one is the amphifloic siphonosteel. And next solenosteel. Solenosteel is divided into different types of the steels. In this, first one is ectofloic solenosteel, second one is the amphifloic solenosteel, third one is the dictyosteel, fourth one is the polycyclic steel, fifth one is the U steel, and sixth one is the atactosteel. So majorly the types of steels in plants is 3 types: protosteel, siphonosteel, and solenosteel. So protosteel means steel without pith. Steels without pith, that is the protosteel. Steels with pith and no leaf gaps, that is the siphonosteel. And steel with pith and have the leaf gap, that is the solenosteel. So we can see the first 2 types of steels in this. First one is the protosteel. Protosteel is the it is very most primitive and simplest type of the steel. It divided again 4 types. So the first one is the haplosteel. This is the most primitive type of the protosteel. Haplosteel is most primitive type of the protosteel. The haplosteel named by the Brebner. So haplosteel named by the Brebner in 1902. So hence the central solid smooth core of xylem remains surrounded by phloem. It is in example of the haplosteel is Selaginella species and Rhynia species. The two species containing the haplosteel in the steel part. So it's first time named by the Brebner in 1902. This is most primitive type of the protosteel. The central solid smooth core of the xylem, it remains surrounded by the phloem. It's present in the some of the Selaginella species and Rhynia species present the haplosteel of the steel. And the second one is the actinosteel. Actinosteel, this is the modification of the haplosteel and smooth what more advanced in having the central xylem core with radiating ribs. So this is the modification of the haplosteel. This is actinosteel is the modification of the haplosteel and somewhat more advanced. It is somewhat more advanced in having the central xylem core with radiating ribs. A protosteel in which xylem appears as stellate or star shaped with many radiating arms in transverse section and phloem is present in small patches in between the radiating arms of the xylem. It is known as the actinosteel. So actinosteel is generally a protosteel in which xylem appears as stellate or star shaped with many radiating arms in transverse section and phloem is present in small patches in between the radiating arms of the xylem. It is known as a actinosteel. So the actinosteel is present in Xylotum species. Xylotum species having that actinosteelic steel. This is the actinosteel. And next one you can show the diagram also. First one is the haplosteel and second one is the actinosteel. Haplosteel, the common features are pericycle is having and outermost layer generally endodermis, pericycle, phloem and xylem. Xylem is present in the patches type present in that plectosteel and remaining the shape. Actinosteel is generally it having the arms like 4 or 5 pericycle present. After that the middle is the xylem and xylem surrounded by the phloem. Xylem is look like a star shape of the xylem present in this actinosteel. So this is the A is haplosteel and B is the actinosteel. So next and third one we can go to the third one, protosteel. Types of protosteels lo first one is haplosteel, second is the actinosteel and third one is the plectosteel. So plectosteel, this is the most advanced type of the protosteel. Plectosteel is most advanced type of the protosteel. Here the central core of xylem is divided into a number of separate plates. Generally the central core of xylem is divided into a number of separate plates arranged parallel to each other. The phloem alternates the xylem. So the plectosteel is present in Lycopodium species. Majority of the Lycopodium species having that plectosteelic protostele. In this, it's advanced type of protostele. Here, the central core of xylem is divided into a number of separate plates. It's arranged a parallel to each other. The phloem alternates the xylem. So, example of that Lycopodium species. So, in some species, here are the central core of xylem is divided into a number of plates arranged parallel to each other. It's alternate the xylem. Some of the its plectostele is first time Zimmermann in 1930 called such stele as a plectostele. For example, Lycopodium. So, in 1930, Zimmermann first time called that name plectostele. So, plectostele is present in Lycopodium species. And fourth one is the mixed pith stele. Here, the xylem elements are mixed with the parenchymatous cells of the pith. It is the xylem elements, these elements, for example, tracheids. Tracheids are mixed with the parenchymatous cells of the pith. This type is found in primitive fossils and living ferns. They are treated to be the transitional types between true protosteles. So, in this, and some of the protosteles and siphonosteles are having that mixed pith stele. For example, Osmunda and Osmunda species having that mixed pith steles. So, this is the fourth type of the protostele, mixed pith steles. You can see the diagram. In this diagram, first one is the A is plectostele, B is mixed protostele, C is the mixed protostele with pith. So, in this part, you can see the endodermis, pericycle, phloem. Phloem is having the total cylinder part having that phloem. In that phloem, the xylem patches or xylem patches are embedded in that phloem part. That's why this is called as the mixed pith stele. So, the tracheids, xylem elements or tracheids are mixed with the parenchymatous cells of the pith. This type is found in primitive fossils and living ferns. So, that's why the example of that mixed pith is the Osmunda species. And some one or two species of the Selaginella also having that mixed pith stele of the protostele. So, next we can go to the siphonostele. The types of steles, in that second one is the siphonostele. Siphonostele, it is the modification of protostele. This is the modification of the protostele. A stele in which the protostele is medullated is known as the siphonostele. A stele in which the protostele is medullated, it is known as the siphonostele. Such stele contains a tubular vascular region and a parenchymatous central region. So, Jeffrey in 1898 interpreted that the vascular portion of siphonostele possessing a parenchymatous region is known as a gap. It's immediately above the branch trace only or immediately above leaf and branch trace. So, this is siphonostele. It's generally having that endodermis, pericycle, xylem, phloem, and middle one is the medullatory parenchymatous tissue is present in that part. So, this is the modification of the protostele. The stele in which the protostele is medullated, that is known as the siphonostele. In siphonostele, it's stele containing the tubular vascular region and a parenchymatous central region. So, on the basis of this branch and leaf gaps, Jeffrey in 1910, he distinguished two types of the siphonosteles. In one type, however, the leaf gaps are not found and they are known as the cladosiphonic siphonosteles. In siphonostele, it's divided on the basis of the leaf gaps. So the leaf gaps are not found, that is the cladosiphonic siphonosteles. In the other type, both leaf and branch gaps, they both are presented and they are known as the phyllosiphonic siphonostele. This is the main difference between the cladosiphonic and phyllosiphonic siphonosteles. Cladosiphonic means cladosiphonic, they did not found any leaf gaps. Any leaf gaps are not present in the cladosiphonic siphonostele, but in phyllosiphonic siphonostele, both the leaf gaps and branch gaps, leaf and branch gaps, those two types are present and they are known as the phyllosiphonic siphonostele. Jeffrey in 19 Jeffrey interrupted the evolution of the siphonostele from the protostele as follows. He supported that the parenchyma found internal to the phloem and xylem has been originated from the cortex. The supporters of this theory believe that the inner endodermis found at the inner face of the vascular tissue and the parenchyma encircled by this endodermis have been originated from the cortex. According to Jeffrey and other supporters, the theory siphonosteles with endodermis, internal endodermis, they are more primitive than those without an internal endodermis. With internal endodermis are more primitive than those without an internal endodermis. So the siphonostele which do not possess the inner endodermis are believed to have originated by distinction of inner endodermis during the evolution. Inner endodermis during that evolution. According to the theory proposed by Boodle and Guinevagam, the siphonostele has been evolved from the protostele by a transformation of the inner vascular tissues into parenchyma. A siphonostele may be of the following types. Siphonostele may be following these types: ectofloic siphonostele, amphiploic siphonostele. Two types of the siphonostele is presented. So siphonostele may be two types, ectofloic and amphiploic. The ectofloic, generally in ectofloic siphonostele, this type of siphonostele, the pith is surrounded by concentric xylem and next to xylem the concentric phloem. So in this type of siphonostele, the pith, center part of the pith is surrounded by the concentric xylem cylinder and next to xylem the concentric phloem cylinder. One by one. Middle one is pith, after that xylem cylinder, after that phloem cylinder. This is the ectofloic siphonostele. And amphiploic siphonostele is present in generally in this type of siphonostele, the pith is surrounded by the vascular tissues. The concentric inner phloem cylinder surrounded by the central pith. Next to the inner phloem is the outer phloem cylinder. This is present in the Marsilia stem. Marsilia stem, amphiploic siphonostele is presented. In that part, generally the center part is pith, after that inner endodermis, after that pericycle, next inner phloem, xylem, outer phloem, outer endodermis, outer pericycle. So these parts are arranged in a one by one circular manner. That's why this is called as the amphiploic siphonostele. Amphiploic siphonostele is present in the Marsilia stem part. So in this diagram, this is the amphiploic siphonostele. The cylinder part, center part is the pith, after that you can see the inner endodermis, after that pericycle, inner pericycle and inner phloem, xylem, outer phloem, outer endodermis and outer pericycle. So these are all arranged. Center part is the xylem, surrounded by the inner and outer parts of the phloem, endodermis and pericycle parts are arranged in between xylem part. So that's why this is very important stele, that is amphiploic siphonostele. Next, evolution of the siphonostele from protostele. So there are two main theories regarding the evolution of siphonostele from the protostele. In that way, first one is the intra-axillary or intrastellar origin. Second one is the extrastellar origin. So in first one, according to this theory, the siphonostele is evolved by the conversion of the central mass of xylem into parenchymatous pith. So intra-axillary origin, the theory is the siphonostele is evolved by the conversion of the central mass of the xylem into parenchymatous pith. This theory is also known as expansion theory, and it is supported by the Boodle-Bower. First time it's expansion, it's called as the expansion theory. This is supported by the Boodle and Bower and Wagon. So this is very important theory of the intra-axillary or intrastellar origin. And second one is the extrastellar origin. This theory is supported by Jeffrey in 1897. According to this theory, according to Jeffrey, the pith is originated as a result of invasion of the parenchymatous cells of the cortex into the stele. It takes place throughout the leaf gaps and branch gaps. So this theory is also known as invasion theory. These two theories are proposed to the evolution of siphonostele from the protostele. So next we will go to the third one of the solenostele. Third one is solenostele. The vascular plants have been divided into two groups on the basis of the presence or absence of the leaf gaps. The vascular plants, solenostele means the vascular plants have been divided into two groups on the basis of the presence or absence of the leaf gaps. The groups are Pteropsida. First one is Pteropsida, second one is the Lycopsida. The fens, gymnosperms and angiosperms are included in Pteropsida, whereas the lycopods, horsetails, etc. are included in Lycopsida. The simplest form of siphonostele has no leaf gaps, such as some species of Selaginella. However, among the simplest siphonostelic Pteropsida and siphonostelic Lycopsida, the successive leaf gaps in the stele do not overlap each other and are considerably apart from each other. So, according to Brebner, such siphonosteles with lack overlapping of gaps are known as solenostele. The siphonostele which is perforated by scattered leaf traces. The siphonostele which is perforated by scattered leaf traces is known as the solenostele. It's in simple words, siphonostele with leaf gaps is called solenostele. Siphonostele with leaf gaps, that is called the siphonostele. It is actually a subcategory of the siphonostele. Solenostele is actually a subcategory of the siphonostele. First time proposed by the Ginne, Wagon and Schuttle. So in 1907, Jeffrey also, Brebner and Jeffrey also, they can such siphonosteels with lack of overlapping of gaps, that is known as the solenosteel. They proposed by the solenosteel. So they may be ectofloic or amphifloic in nature. Solenosteel is ectofloic or amphifloic in nature. Some authors, Bauer, Wadla, Asa, however, interpreted the solenosteels as an amphifloic siphonosteel. So this is the solenosteel is as a part of siphonosteel, actually subcategory of the siphonosteel. It's generally simple words of the solenosteel is siphonosteel with leaf gap. Siphonosteel with leaf gap is called the solenosteel. You can see the slide. This is generally stellar system of the solenosteel. The leaf gaps, leaf traces and leaf branches, leaf gaps are present in this steel part of the plant part. That's why this is called as the solenosteel. Next one is the dictyosteel. Dictyosteel, in the more advanced siphonosteels of the Pteropsida, the successive gaps may overlap each other. The successive gaps may overlap each other. Brebner called the siphonosteels with overlapping gaps as the dictyosteel. So in such cases, the intervening portion of the vascular tissue meristeel is of protostelic type. So the dictyosteel with meristelic look like a cylindrical meshwork. So that's why the dictyosteel, it is a solenosteel with more overlapping leaf gaps, so as to show the more than interruption in one transfer section is known as the dissected siphonosteel or dissected solenosteel or dictyosteel. It is broken into network of separate vascular bundles. Brebner called the siphonosteels with overlapping gaps as a dictyosteel. The vascular parts of dictyosteel between the neighboring gaps are known as the meristeels, which are of protostelic type. The dictyosteel with many meristems looks like a cylindrical meshwork. These vascular bundles are concentric, central xylem surrounded by the phloem, pericyclic and endodermis, called meristeels. Example, Dryopteris. So dictyosteel is present in the Dryopteris species. That's why it is dictyosteel means the patchwork, patch like phloem xylem is present in the steel part. It is generally overlapping gaps are called as the dictyosteels. And next one is, you can see the diagram. Dictyosteels, A is dictyosteel, B is the vascular skeleton of a dictyosteel. In this you can see the leaf traces and leaf gases. These leaf gap and leaf traces, two parts are present in the steel part. So this is look like in circle, round like circle like structures are present in the steel part, that is the leaf traces, and each trace is covered with the meristeels, each circle having the meristeels part. So that's why it is the generally dictyosteel. And next we can see the eustelic type. And another one, polycyclic steel also present in the types of steels. This type of stellar organization is the most complex one amongst all pteridophytes. Such type of steels are siphonostelic in structure. Each such steel possesses a internal vascular system connected with an outer siphonosteel. Such connections are always found at the node part. A typical polycyclic steel possesses two or more concentric rings of vascular tissues. This may be a solenosteel or dictyosteel. Two concentric rings of vascular tissues are found in pteridium and the Matonia pectinata. So these two species are present in that type of the steel, polycyclic steel. And next we will go to the U steel. What is U steel? According to the Brebner in 1902, there is one more modification of the siphono-steel. This is known as the U steel. Hence, the vascular system consists of a ring of collateral or bicollateral vascular bundles situated on the periphery of the pith. In such steels, the interfascicular areas and the leaf gaps are not distinguished from each other very clearly. So, the best example of the U steel is equisetum. Equisetum is the best example of the U steel. It is the characteristics of gymnosperms and dicot stems also. U steel is very evolved steel. It is characteristics of the gymnosperms and dicot stems. In this type of steel, collateral or bicollateral vascular bundles are present in a ring according to the Brebner. That's why it is very advanced characteristics of the gymnosperm and dicot stems of the steel part. And last one is the attacto steel. Attacto steel, it is characteristics of in this type of steel. Vascular lies scattered in the evolved stellar organization. So, in ground tissue, the vascular bundles, the vascular parts are lies on scattered mode. According to the Brebner, it is a present in monocots plants, either root part or stem part. Attacto steel is present in the only monocotyledons. This is a special case of U steel in which the steel is more dissected with leaf gaps, so that in transverse section the vascular bundles are scattered through the fundamental tissues, that is monocot stems or grasses. Some of the corn or grass plants having that root part and stem part of that actinostelic vascular bundles is present in that type. That's why this is called as the attactostelic steel. So this is totally all types of the steels. You can see the stellar systems, eustelic and attactostelic. A is the eustelic. The vascular bundles, the vascular tissues are arranged in a circular manner or a ring manner. In this, each vascular tissue, each part is containing the xylem and phloem part in only one circle or one tissue. So this is the advanced characteristics of the steel part. It is present in the all dicotyledons and gymnosperms having that eustelic steel. And second one, B, is the attactostelic. Attactosteel is present in monocots only. In this, the vascular tissues or vascular bundles are present in the central part, that is scattered mode. The vascular bundles are arranged in a not orderly arranging. That's why it's called as the attactostelic steel. So evolution of steel, you can see the slide. First one is the solid xylem core phloem. Solid xylem, central part is the solid xylem core, and surrounded by the xylem core, it's surrounded by the phloem part. So this is the primitive oldest model of the steel, that is the protosteel. After that, the protosteel is evolved three types: selenosteel, siphono-steel and dictyosteel. Selenosteel having that one or two leaf gaps are present in the selenosteel, and siphono-steel having that center part is pith part, after that xylem cylinder, after that phloem cylinder. These two circles are surrounded by the pith part, that is the siphono-steel. And next one is the dictyosteel. dictyostele means the many number of leaf gaps or leaf traces are present in that center part, that is the dictyostele. And siphonostele is evolved. And next two types of the steles are the eustele and atactostele. Eustele is very advanced characters. It's present in dicotyledons and gymnospermic plants. The vascular tissues are arranged in a ring-like structure or arranged in a circular manner, that is the eustele. And next one is the atactostele. Atactostele is present in the only monocotyledon root or shoot parts. The vascular tissues are scattered in the meristematic tissue or ground tissue. They are arranged not surround. They are zigzag arrangement of the vascular tissues are present in that ground tissue. That's why this is called as the atactostelic tissue. So this part is generally resource or references from Telugu Academy and Easy Biology of the Net Part and College Botany Volume 2 BP Pandey. This topic are taken from the two resources. Thank you very much.